In this video, I'm gonna share with you the 7 things that I quit to go from broke to millionaire at 27 years old. Let's jump right into the video. The first thing that I quit was...
Let me tell you something. We're about 4 months into 2025 at the time of posting this video, and I know for a fact you have not accomplished any of the New Year's resolutions that you set at the beginning of the year.
How do you know this? How? Hold on, bro.
Now, why is that? You had goals to start this business, goals to get that job, goals to graduate from that school. Why are you wasting your time and not attacking these goals with all the energy that we have? I know you got time in the day. Just take a little bit of time from that doom scrolling to accomplish these goals. Y'all can do it. If you clicked on this video, chances are that you want to become a millionaire one day, or at least have some type of tangible success related to money, a job, education, degree, something. In today's video, we're going to look at the 7 things that you should quit in order to go from broke to millionaire. If you guys hear or see anything in this video that inspires you or gives you any type of motivation that you like, if you could please just drop a sub and a like on the video, I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps for the YouTube algorithm. I'm not going to waste too much time on the intro because, as they say, time is money. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
I lived in Colombia for a few years. I love that country. Beautiful country with great culture. But at a certain point in my experience there, I started feeling pushed. I started feeling the hunger. Yes, I was making good money, but my environment wasn't forcing me to be better. So I decided to make the shift. I decided to make the move to go from Colombia to Miami in 2024. And that was the first year I made my first $1 million. Coincidentally, right? Forcing yourself in a new environment, forcing yourself around wealth is going to transcend your income. I was in Colombia, even though I loved the country, I didn't feel like the people, the environment or the people around me were forcing me to do more. I was one of the most successful people in the area. I felt good about myself. I felt like I made it. But in Miami, I'm just a small fish in a big pond.
The first thing that you should address to go from broke to millionaire is your environment. If you live in a certain place that doesn't have the type of lifestyle that you're looking for, or it doesn't have the type of people that you're looking for, or it doesn't have anything that you're looking for, why are you staying in that place? It's okay to go explore, go different places in the world, talk to other people, network. There's a good chance that maybe the place that you live just doesn't have what it is that you're looking for, and that's okay. That's like finding your wife in your hometown to the first person that you meet. You know, you might have to go to college and meet some new people, or switch towns, switch cities later on in life to find that person for you. The same thing with success. You got to switch up your environment. You know, if you're surrounded by people who are drinking and drugging every day, you know, maybe that's not the proper environment for you to be successful. If you want to be a rapper and you hanging out with country singers, that's probably not the best environment for you to be surrounded by. But they say you are the summation of the people that you spend the most time with, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. You kind of are what you are surrounded by on a regular basis.
Change your location, change your environment. A lot of times in my life in the past, even though I've been a very confident guy for the most part, I've always felt like when things get tough, it was like, oh, you know, don't worry. You know, you're an immigrant, Fed. You know, you're an immigrant. You shouldn't have gotten this far, right? But when I removed that thinking, when I removed that mindset, I started to do even better. When I stopped giving myself an excuse, when I stopped giving myself a pat to feel bad about myself, to feel good about my failures, I forced myself to have responsibility. I started to make more money. When I stopped giving myself excuses to go above and beyond and why, it's not my fault, I started to make more money. If you force yourself to make it your responsibility on why you're not successful, I guarantee you, you're going to be more successful. It's nobody else's fault but you, bro. And when you give yourself that responsibility, you give yourself that power.
The second thing that you should quit to go from broke to millionaire is feeling sorry for yourself and making excuses, right? A lot of us, I get it. You know, you might have grew up with childhood trauma, or maybe you didn't have parents around and you were an orphan, or maybe you were just dead broke and like you just didn't have any support. You know, after you left home at 18, you didn't have any support and you're kind of just out here floundering. Or maybe you were never able to get a college degree, or any number of reasons why you're not where you would want to be in life right now. Those things are all truly valid. But the hang up is, if you want to get to where you're trying to go, you got to leave that stuff in the past, and you can't use it as a crutch or an excuse to not get where you're going. Because it's a sad reality, right? Especially for a lot of minorities. There are systemic issues and different things that are realities for a lot of us. But the problem is, if then nothing, at no point in time are those things just going to disappear from existence. So if you have these certain goals and high level aspirations that you want to achieve, you're going to have to look at those things and not accept them for what they are. You can maybe support your local government or do other things to continue to address those issues moving forward and for future generations. But you're going to have to at least acknowledge them and leave it where it is, so that you're able to use that mind power that you're using to stress over those things you can't change to apply it to yourself and move forward. And you also have to become comfortable with failure. You got to accept it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a business, an idea, anything that you start, chances are if you think about any other thing you started in your life, you probably weren't good at it the first time you did it and you failed a couple times or 100 times or 1,000 times. Like the more times you fail, the more evidence you have of what not to do moving forward. So you learn more from your failures than any success that you can have. So I say the more times you fail, the better. Just each time, as long as you're learning from it, then it's going to be helpful to you down the road.
I'm going to admit, guys, I'm going to admit I fell for it. I fell for the trap as well. When I first started making money around 2020, 2021, I was like, oh man, I'm making a decent living now. Let me go buy some Louis. Let me go buy a nice bag. Let me go buy all this shit. And honestly, guys, when I look back on it now, it was a mistake. I was spending money to look rich instead of actually being rich. It wasn't until I had a tax bill where I realized I had to spend a lot of money on taxes that I was not saving for me to wake my ass up. I came from nothing, so I like nice things. But I can get all those nice things and more if I sacrifice instant gratification. If I stop trying to look rich and actually go be rich. If I go invest my money back into my business, back into my education, buy assets that produce passive cash flow, then I can go buy nice things. Don't ever spend money to look rich. There are a lot of people right now who are flashing like they got it, they acting like they got it, or their bank account doesn't show it. They don't have any assets. They're not invested into anything. They don't have an oh shit fund. They don't have an investment fund. Be wealthy, not look wealthy. And when you are wealthy, when you actually have money that are producing cash flow, you can buy all the nice shit that you want.
Third thing that you need to quit to go from broke to millionaire, spending money to look rich. I feel y'all, man. Like having drip, you know, you got the new sneaks, bro. You got some nice little Nike Tech suit. You got the nice car, you know what I'm saying, with the bass in it. All that stuff is great. If you're a guy, you want to flex for the shorties. If you're a girl, you want to look fly for the guys. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you just want to even do it for yourself. And all that's cool, but you got to do that at a certain point in your journey. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just go off the rip the first time you touch some money, whether that be $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000. You can't just splurge and spend it all because then you have nothing to show for it. It's like you have that one thing, but then maybe if you're struggling to pay your rent, or you can't go to college, or you can't pay your bills, or you're behind in debt and your credit score is cooked, then it don't matter how much drip you got because you're not going to be wearing it to go out nowhere. You're not going to be driving that car nowhere if you can't put gas in it. You're not going to be driving that car nowhere if you can't get insurance for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it. So you got to stop spending money as soon as you touch it. Hold on to it. Listen to other people that have money. Look around. A lot of them, like Mark Zuckerberg, like he just recently switched up his appearance and like kind of has like a new PR team probably. But before, he was literally wearing like a white t-shirt and jeans, like from Walmart. A lot of people that you see that got the most drip usually don't have the most money. That's all I'm trying to say.
There's a saying that goes profit first. It's a book that I read, and one of the books that changed my life. I took that to another level. I don't necessarily pay myself first, but I automate my savings, and this has changed my life. So what I did was I created several checking accounts. I have my operations account. This is where all my income comes in, and I separate different checkings accounts based on what I'm gonna automate. So every single month, I set up an automation. Most banks do this. You can automate a certain amount to come from that checking account, that operations account, into your investment fund, into your knowledge fund, into your tax fund. So every single month, 30% is being automatically taken out of my operations account, going into my tax account. So I'm never going to be behind on my taxes anymore because that money is automatically gone. I don't even see it.
The fourth thing that you need to do in order to go from broke to millionaire is save money to pay taxes. Now, if you have your own personal business, then you really need to do that. And you should really be saving about 30% of your income to go towards taxes because the IRS do not play. They do want their money and they're going to come collect their money. And if you don't give it to them, they garnish your wages. So that basically just means that anytime you get paid or money goes in your account, the government goes in and just takes what you owe them. You don't want that to happen. But if you have a job, like you're just regularly employed, then I suggest that you claim zero. Everyone's situation, this is not official financial advice, and everyone's situation is different. But I personally find it better to claim zero, because when you do so, then the government just takes the money that they need throughout the year as you get paid. And then when it comes time to do your taxes at the end of the year, there's very minimal money needed, if any. And a lot of times the government will end up owing you a little bit of money back. A lot of times people, look forward to getting their tax return like, oh, yay, money. And they think it's the government giving them money. That's not how it works. It's really just you overpaid during the year for whatever you claimed, and they're just giving you the money that you overspent back. So it's like, that's money that, sometimes people look at it like, oh, that's money that I could have had during the year. And then other people look at it as they're just getting free money, but that's really just not the case. Anytime you get a refund, they're not giving you anything for free. It's just you overpaid throughout the year. Honestly, the least amount of money that you can get back from taxes, the better, in my personal opinion. But again, not official financial advice, and everyone's situation and outlook is different. A lot of times what happens is people get that money back and they go splurge and spend it on a vacation or buy some shoes or whatever. And we just said that in order to become successful or go from broke to millionaire, you can't do stuff like that, and you need to use your money more wisely, as making investments, saving, and look at it as more of a savings account for yourself. The government holding your money as a savings account more so, rather than you just getting free money to spend. So something that kind of transformed my personal financial situation is paying yourself first. Now, the concept of paying yourself first is kind of foreign, right? We're almost programmed to go spend money as soon as we get it. Or even just the concept of saving for Americans is not a normal thing that's taught. It's not taught in school, and a lot of people's parents don't teach them. So unless you go on your own and learn it from the internet, or maybe you took a class in college, then you're really not gonna know it. It's not a family thing that gets passed down, especially for a lot of minorities. I didn't learn it from my family. I had to learn it on my own. You open up a high yield savings account. Now, what a high yield savings account does is, when you have money in the bank, in a regular bank, you're essentially losing money to inflation, because you get 0.0000 something percent back on your money as it just sits in there, and it's not outpacing inflation. So essentially you're losing money by leaving it there. What a high yield savings account does is, whatever bank you have, they look at it and they go, okay, thank you for giving us this money in exchange for you putting this money in for us to be able to do other things with, like how banks do. Then we're gonna give you a certain percentage back on your money just for having it in there. And they give it to you at a certain percentage. Like, a lot of times it's, between 2 and 5%. I think a decent one would be like around 4%. I think that's what mine is. The more money you put in, the more money you get back, because the more money you have in there, the higher the percentage back that you get is gonna be. So if you have 100 grand in there, they're gonna give you 4% of that 100 grand every single month. If you have 10 grand in there, they're gonna give you 4% on the 10 grand you have in there every month. So as you put more and more money in there, you can see how that can start to compound and have a crazy effect. You get more and more money just from literally just having it sit in there. So literally saving money, taking yourself seriously, and just gaining some knowledge can literally make you hundreds to thousands of dollars a year just from having the money in there. It's kind of like a reward. Again, not official financial advice, just sharing things that I find helpful that I learned.
Guys, the people you surround yourself with will make a tremendous impact on your decision making. I stopped wanting to talk to friends. I've lost a lot of friends in the last few years. I'm going to be the first one to say it. Friends that our conversations were about meaningless nothing. It was never conversations to actually improve our lives. And I reflected on myself, like, why am I talking to this person? Or every time I tried to talk about something productive, the conversations would be short-lived. Do you notice that? Do you have any friends in your life right now where when you try to talk about something productive, you try to talk about making more money, being more successful, they always shutting you off. They always tell you, oh, those kind of conversations. If your friends are not committed to excellence like you're trying to be, these are not the people for you.
The sixth thing that you need to address in order to go from broke to millionaire is your friends. Now, guys, friends are an extremely important part of life, and I personally have a bunch of them, and I love my friends dearly. I look at them as family. But if you're thinking to yourself, man, my friend group that I got, like my homies that I chill with, my homegirls that I chill with, like, they're just not on the same type of time I'm on. Or every time that you go to hang out with them, they're talking about, the latest street gossip or who's doing this and that, and it's never anything constructive, then maybe you should reconsider the type of friends that you're chilling with. Let's say you got, a good group of friends and they got their head on straight, but y'all going to the clubs every single week, or you're spending a bunch of money on nonsense every week, or they're taking vacations that they can't afford or whatever it is. Maybe you should try and keep them as friends still, but try to find better ways to spend your money, spend your time. A lot of times, having a significant other, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, or having a certain group of friends can lead you down a wrong path, even if they're not bad people, if that makes sense. Maybe what they're doing is not even bad, it's just your goals aren't aligned. And so by doing what they're doing, you're not gonna accomplish what you're trying to do. And the seventh and final thing that you should address if you're trying to go from broke to millionaire is to focus on your goals and make sacrifices. Guys, success doesn't come overnight. You're not gonna get anything without sacrifice, and anything that comes easy is usually not good for you. You can think about anything. Fast food, bad for you. Fast girls, fast guys, usually bad for you. Quick money, usually bad for you. You take Ozempic to lose a lot of weight, you do debt consolidation to cancel your debt, it's usually bad for you because you're not fixing the behavioral issues that got you to those places. And so what happens is you just build it right back up. You get the weight right back on, you get the debt right back racked up to where it was before. And be intentional about where you're trying to be, who it is that you want to be, the people that you're surrounded by, how you're spending your money, how you're spending your time, and the different goals and aspirations that you have. If you're scrolling your phone aimlessly every day, you don't want to be a professional phone scroller, then maybe you should use some of that time, like we all do it, so it's not a personal attack, I'm just talking out loud. Maybe you should use some of that time that you're doing those fun things or those mindless things to pursue your goals and get to where it is that you're trying to be. Every single one of y'all watching this video has the ability to do and accomplish anything that you set your mind to. You really just have to put in the effort and the time. That's it. That's it. Like, that's so crazy how simple it is, but that's the secret. That's the secret sauce. With that being said, guys, those are the 7 things that you must address or quit to go from broke to millionaire. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you heard or saw anything that was helpful to you, motivational in any way, if you could drop a like and a sub on the video, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, but YouTube thinks you'll like one of the videos popping up here. Until next time, J2ASMS out of here. As I said, each and every single one of y'all has exactly what it takes to become successful and chase whatever dream that is you're trying to do. You just have to put the time in, believe in yourself, and don't quit.